Yeah, that's yummy. Welcome to the Book Bar, where everything bookish is on the menu. I'm Anjanette Barr, and I have a book review for you today of Tequila Mockingbird, Cocktails with a Literary Twist. This is a library book, as you can see. I have had my eye on this for a long time, but I read the reviews and I was just a little skeptical about purchasing it for myself for several reasons that I'll get into, and so I thought checking it out from the library would be a good move, and it was. And so I've read through the whole thing word for word front to back, and I'm going to tell you what I think about it, and then I'm going to try 3 recipes from the book. So I'll tell you a little bit about which recipes I chose in a minute, but I wanted to just kind of go over the book first and give you kind of my thoughts on whether or not this would be a good investment for you, and or who it would be a good investment for. So, I mean, if you haven't heard of this book before, you may not be aware that there's another 1 or 2 in the set. I think 1 is for cocktails to go with movies, and then I can't remember the other one, but they are by Tim Federle, so you can look those up. I will, of course, link it in the description below, as always. But I think this was the first. And because my channel is all about books and drinks, I knew that it would be a perfect fit if it was good. And as you can see, it's really pretty. So I think they did a really great job with the typefacing. This is a really nice hardcover. It's smaller than I expected. I really kind of expected more of like a cookbook size book, and this isn't that. But I think that's fine, because I don't think this book necessarily appeals to the same people that cookbooks do. I don't think that people will have this out in their kitchen, earmarked, ready to go for dinner. I think this would be more of an occasional use, or I'll give you some examples of who might really enjoy this as we work through. So the book is broken down into several sections, which I appreciated. The beginning of the book, all the front matter, is very informative, and I needed that because I actually don't know a lot about cocktails. I don't like bars. I've only been to a couple, and I just don't feel like it's the environment that I enjoy. I'm really glad that the brewery and distillery scene is popular now, and that I have several good options for that here in my town. I can go and kind of see where it's made, have a drink. People aren't drinking too much, so it still feels safe. This book has a lot of really cute illustrations. So it has an introduction here, kind of tells you about the intention of the book, and then it goes into just some kind of basics for people who may be new to alcoholic drinks or new to making cocktails. I think this is where this book shines, because it's a really great gift for someone who likes books more than they like alcohol, or someone who likes them equally. But I will say that I can't say for sure, because I am not an expert in cocktails or even alcohol in general. I think that people who really know what they're doing with alcoholic drinks may be a little underwhelmed by this book, even if they like literature. So keep that in mind. I'll read you some of the different pages and you'll see why I still think they might enjoy it. It could still be a gift book, but if you're that person and you're thinking about buying it for yourself, maybe check it out from the library first. So it has some cute illustrations, some information about the different types of glassware that you may use while making cocktails, which was actually helpful for me because I have a good idea, but it could all be mason jars for all I care. And mason jars are actually on the list, so totally legitimate. And then it goes into more equipment that you might use, like a strainer, explains what a jigger is, tells you how you might use a shaker, and then tells you how to do the techniques that other people may take for granted if they are used to making cocktails, like what does floating mean, what does muddling or shaking or stirring. So I really appreciated that. I enjoyed reading through it, and it felt like a very succinct introduction that filled in some blanks for me. And then some ideas for garnishes, and then different techniques for garnishing, and then some terms for the alcohol itself, different spirits. It covers gin, rum, tequila, vodka, and whiskey. So obviously, talking about cocktails, we are not focusing on wine or beer or mead, my favorite. So these are spirits with a higher percentage of alcohol, hence all the mixing, all of the ingredients in. Though, one of the reasons I don't know a lot about cocktails is that I enjoy my spirits neat or with water, and I think that the flavors just in those drinks are plenty enjoyable. So I guess I never feel the need to supplement. I'm a Scotch girl, and I will add stuff to Scotch just like as an experiment, but I don't know. I'm good. So we'll see if any of this changes my mind. I'm skeptical. I think probably someone else would have to make it for it to be something that might blow my mind, because I'm just like, this is going to be the first time I've made any of these drinks, right? It does go over beer and wine and liqueurs. And then other flavorings, which were totally new to me. And another reason that I probably won't keep up with making any kind of cocktails at home regularly is that I'm not going to go and buy all these ingredients. In fact, it was kind of hard to gather all of these things, and I think I spent more time trying to gather them than I will making this video. And then after that front matter, there are different parts. Part 1 is drinks for dames. Part 2 is the equivalent for guys. What does he call it? Okay, part 2 is gulps for guys. And then part 3 is bevies for book clubs. Part 4 is refreshments for recovering readers. Part 5 is bar bites for book hounds. And then a bonus section for games for geeks. So I'll go over each of those sections. But I thought rather than the whole video just being me walking you through the book, that we would start making a drink. I'm going to make 3, like I said, and then dive more into the book as we go. So this whole book is punny and a little bit spicy and irreverent. The illustrations are not safe for children, maybe not safe for work in some instances, but very clever, and I really enjoyed reading all of the little blurbs before the recipes. So I chose 3 kind of based on just what I was interested in, and also the ingredients that I thought I could acquire. But there were lots that I wanted to try just for the cleverness of the titles. So I'll just give you some examples. Howard's Blend instead of Howard's End, Gin Eyre instead of Jane Eyre. Here's an example of some spicy illustrations. Paradise Sauced instead of Paradise Lost. Let's see. A Midsummer Night's Beam. So these are all so far in the ladies section, and I actually decided Jane Eyre is my favorite novel, so I was glad it was in here. And the Gin Eyre version has things that I more or less could find, so I'll just read you the recipe here and you'll see what I mean by it being punny and a little irreverent. So Gin Eyre, which is Jane Eyre, 1847, by Charlotte Bronte. You know what's too tragic to be funny? A feminist survivor story published under a male pseudonym. With Charlotte Bronte writing as Currer Bell, Jane Eyre, think Gloria Steinem in a bonnet, is the retrospective of an abused orphan child turned bored teacher girl turned lovesick governess lady. Unfortunately, her groom already has a wife. Bronte didn't give the heroine any breaks, and Jane sets off on a soul quest, refusing subsequent marriage proposals and eventually landing the man, the baby, and the happy home. Bronte wasn't so lucky. She died while pregnant less than 10 years after Jane debuted to acclaim. Raise a glass of English gin to a legendary lady worthy of a sweeter finish than befell her. So, and then it has the recipe. And so the recipe is 8 sprigs of fresh mint washed, 2 ounces of English gin, 1 ounce lemon juice, 1.5 teaspoons granulated sugar, 2 dashes orange bitters. And then it tells you how to make it. So here's the thing. I read through all of this and I was trying to get my mind around what I would try on video, and I knew that one of them asked for Seagram's. And so when I went to the store to buy gin, I definitely grabbed Seagram's, and that's probably not the same thing as English gin, but honestly, I did not even realize that until I was preparing for the video. So I didn't even look it up. So you tell me if English gin is different than just the standard Seagram's Extra Dry that I bought. I will show you the one that is Seagram's. Okay, so Old Man and the Seagrams, which is clever and hilarious, and I love it. Old Man and the Sea, obviously, by Ernest Hemingway, calls for 2 ounces of whiskey like Seagram's and lemon lime soda and kumquat for garnish. But I decided not to do that because I've actually made something similar in one of my drinks. Oh, I made a whiskey and soda for my Rebecca review, which I will link. So back to gin, Eyre. Without knowing what English gin is, I gathered as much as I could to make this recipe as accurate as possible. But here's the other thing I couldn't find here in Juneau, Alaska in early summer is mint. It wasn't anywhere. I think I would have had to go to the health food store, and I just didn't want to make an extra trip. I checked several stores. It's too early for mint to be in my garden, which is a shame because I grow mint and I love mint, but could not find fresh mint. So what I did, I'm gonna have to put this down for a minute, was to steep some dry mint from last year in the lemon juice that it called for, just to start the process. It won't be quite the same as using fresh mint, and I know it's gonna probably influence how I feel about the drink, but this is the only one that I really had to improvise a lot. The other 2 drinks I was able to get much closer to exact. So I have my mint and my lemon juice here. The other ingredients that it calls for is 2 ounces of gin and 1.5 teaspoons of sugar and 2 dashes of orange bitters. So I'm also supposed to shake this, and I don't have a shaker, and I just could not bring myself to buy a shaker. So here I am with my mason jar, and I have a strainer lid, which I'm not ready for. So I have my sugar in here already, and I'm just going to add all the ingredients. I forgot my ice. Be right back. Okay, I'm kind of a mess. And this is obviously my first time doing any of this. So I'm just supposed to mix all the ingredients. So here's the lemon juice and the mint. And it asks for 2 ounces of gin, which I'm just going to eyeball because I do know what 2 ounces looks like. 1, 2, that's more than 2 ounces. We're okay. And 2 dashes of orange bitters. So it's not very scientific. This will be my very first time using orange bitters for anything. I had to buy them especially for you for this video. You're welcome. And now we're supposed to shake it and then strain it and pour it. So mason jar to the rescue. Here we go. How much are you supposed to shake a cocktail? I think this is one of the weaknesses of the book, is if you are new to cocktails, it's not super specific, but my personal philosophy is edible for food, not gourmet. So in this instance, I'd say drinkable, not gourmet. If it isn't going to hurt me and it's more or less drinkable, I'll be happy. Okay, strainer lid is on. This could be dangerous. This is not what you're supposed to use to pour. Hey, a few mint leaves, but not bad. Okay, here's the gin Eyre. Let's try it. It is very citrusy. Yeah. It's a little more balanced, even though it's strong, obviously. I think adding some ice to it and letting it melt would probably make it the most palatable, like some crushed ice. That would be yummy. It's not bad. Wouldn't pay for it. Okay, so moving on. One of the things I did like about this book is that in addition to all these recipes, it has an index. So if you had a type of alcohol and you wanted to see what you could make with it, you could go to the back and look up whatever it is. For instance, rum, and you can see all the things listed under rum. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rum recipes. And the one that I chose to try today is a rum of one's own. So that is obviously a pun on A Room of One's Own, 1929 by Virginia Woolf. So here's the little snippet that he wrote. Oh, Virginia, so smart, so sad, so specific. According to our gray wolf, a woman needs money and a room of her own if she is to write fiction. She says nothing of nonfiction, so apparently you can be broke and living with 3 other girls in a studio apartment if you're going the journalistic route. We couldn't agree more with Ginny's recipe for storytelling success, though we'd add another thing to the list, a nice warm cocktail. Prepare the following bevy on a writerly wintry night. Who needs a man around when the drink is this hot? So, I like the sound of a warm alcoholic drink, and the ingredients are interesting. They are, and there's no illustration on this page. It's funny, I chose ones without illustration, sorry. So the ingredients are half a tablespoon of salted butter at room temperature, 1 teaspoon of light brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 2 ounces of dark rum. And then you pour hot water over all of that. So that sounds yummy, and it doesn't say how much water. So it says you place the butter, sugar, and cinnamon in the bottom of a mug, mix well with a metal spoon, then you pour in the rum and fill to the top with hot water and stir. And now, a long walk by the creek, no stone collecting allowed. Okay, I've got my Kerrygold, the good stuff, to put into my mug here. You know, one other thing that I would have liked to have seen from this book that I think is a mistake on the author's part is that he doesn't say whether these cocktails are based on anything else or if they just came out of his own imagination. And for someone who is new to cocktails like me, it would be nice to know, oh, hey, this is similar to Moscow Mule or something, right? Something that I could then go someplace and order instead of just knowing how to make it at home and you mix some alcohol and some stuff and it tasted good. There are a few things that he does that you can tell are based off of recognizable drinks. Obviously, Tequila Mockingbird, the title one, has tequila in it, and it looks like it's similar to like a tequila sour maybe. Yeah. And there's some other examples in here, like Bloody Carry. I mean, I'm assuming this is a Bloody Mary. So there's a few things that I recognize, but because I know so little about cocktails, I guess it doesn't really help me with ordering cocktails anywhere else, if that makes sense. So, what did we say? Brown sugar and cinnamon. Got that in here. Can you see my cute mug? I don't think you can. Isn't that cute? So we have butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, and now 2 ounces of rum, which again, I'm going to eyeball. I know that I should have a jigger, is that what he said it was called, to measure out my ounces, but it's just not that important to me. I like alcohol, so I don't feel like more is going to make me like the drink less. So, here we go. It's a generous 2 ounces again. And then I'm going to add our hot water. I think I'm just going to add enough that that butter melts. So maybe half of this. Stir it around and see how it tastes. I don't feel like it was very much brown sugar and cinnamon. And so not sure how the flavor is going to come through. I don't like weak drinks for sure. I often skip ice in my drinks just because I feel like as it melts it does water it down, and I don't just mean alcoholic drinks. I don't like things watered down. Let's see, this might be too hot. I can smell the alcohol. That is actually really good, and the butter is not weird or too much at all. I can't even really taste the butter. I think the butter maybe calms down the sweetness because of that salt. That's really good, actually. So tell me if you know if there is an actual drink that goes along or that's similar to in any way to the two drinks that I've made so far, because I would order this. Maybe not that. Okay, so the other two sections are actually non-alcoholic drinks. Oh, I guess there's three. Non-alcoholic drinks, food, kind of party foods that go with your drinks, and bulk drinks, drinks that serve more than one person for book clubs. And that section was really interesting. And I'm not going to make any of them, but I wanted to tell you about it because I do think this would be a great gift to someone, to give to someone who regularly hosts a book club or who's going to host a book club, or even someone who has and you want to give them a thank you. This has some cool ideas in it. So this one, for instance, is Fahrenheit 151. And it says that it makes about 10 drinks, and it's basically a spiked apple cider. So it would be really cool to put this in a crock pot and get it ready for a reading of Fahrenheit 451 and, you know, show them this recipe. There are others in here. Gone with the Wine, which actually is a kind of a sangria. The Rye and the Catcher, which has rye whiskey, pineapple juice, lemon juice, and ginger beer, so a punch that sounds like I would really enjoy it. So anyway, I did like that. And then the foods are also to serve multiple people. So I know there's like a deviled egg recipe in here, like candied nuts, and a mini pizza recipe. So that could be the hook. So that could be fun for book clubs as well. And then the last section are non-alcoholic drinks. So this one is Rip Van Winkle, and it says, a rare classic that you can read in a single trip to the John, this short story packs a tall tale. In Rip Van Winkle, one town's most lovable loner escapes his wife's nagging by setting off on foot into the Catskills. And it says more, this one's kind of long. Rip inspires a nap-time-inducing drink that will have you nodding off before even entertaining the thought of outdoor exercise. So it's basically chamomile tea, and the difference from just brewing a mug of chamomile is that you are supposed to add a kiwi wheel and honey. So this is very simple. I didn't need a recipe, but I do enjoy it as an addition. I'm going to make that. And then there's some others like Cherry Poppins. It's like a cherry cream soda. There's several in here. There's like a Blizzard smoothie. Several in here that would be great for your non-alcoholic guests who want to come over and go through this book and make some stuff. Now, I don't know how you would go. You would have to really have a bar to have all of these ingredients on hand, but it would be cool maybe to have everyone choose something ahead of time from some options, or just make some options and then, you know, have everyone try them. So our chamomile tea recipe, my little llama strainer. So it called for a tea bag, but I don't have tea bags of chamomile, so we're just gonna stuff us some chamomile into our strainer here. Chamomile is really easy to grow yourself, and it dries lovely, and it smells really good, so you can use it for all kinds of other crafty things. So don't hesitate to try chamomile in your garden. All right, I have my little silicone llama closed. So we're gonna steep. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add my honey first, because I want to pour my hot water over my honey. Now let this steep while we talk about the rest of the book. I think you're supposed to put the kiwi wheel inside. Okay. that's still clean. I don't think you're supposed to put it in right away. It didn't say though. It said a kiwi wheel sliced. So no idea if it was a garnish or if it was supposed to go in. So it's in. So while I'm waiting to enjoy my drinks a little bit more, I guess my overall opinion of this book is like maybe 3.5 stars. There's lots of things I would have done to beef this book up and to change it. Like I said, I would have added some more instructions and maybe some other tidbits like which cocktails these are similar to. But the writing is really funny. It's a cute gift book. I think it definitely has appeal to a lot of different people. Like I said, it is a little irreverent for my taste. I don't love the illustrations and the off-color humor, but obviously there's going to be a lot of people who do, so that is fine. And one thing I do appreciate is at the end there are formulas for metric conversions, so that's great to be able to apply this to other recipes you find. So this could be a launching off place for looking recipes up online, and if they happen to be in metric, this will help you. So you have the metric equivalent and different marks that are used in the British system, and then also some drinking games, and they're not all silly. They're not all things that I would be embarrassed to participate in. And they're not all meant to actually be played. Some of it's just witty humor. So overall, I thought that this book was fun and interesting to read. I'm glad that I checked it out from the library. I don't think I will be buying a copy of this for myself, but I could imagine buying a copy of this for someone if it just fit their personality really well. I hope that helped you decide whether or not to check this book out. Maybe it's right up your alley. And I'd say out of the 3 drinks, this was my least favorite. But it's definitely palatable with some ice, I think. And then this one, I'm going to try it again, I think as a winner. Yeah. This rum drink is really yummy and desserty. Very, very good. And then my chamomile tea with honey and kiwi. Smells good. Tastes like chamomile tea. Let me know in the comments if you have read this book or if you own it, or the other 2. I think the only other one I can remember is called Gone with the Gin, and I think that is the movie version. I think it's something like Cocktails for the Silver Screen or something. So let me know if you've tried that. I might be interested in that, especially if it has a lot of classic movies. I could see that being a fun pairing. So let me know if I should check that one out. And help me out with my cocktails. Let me know what else I should try or what I should ask for on the rare occasion that I go someplace that serves cocktails. And definitely let me know what right now is in your cup.